Welcome to the Joy School Podcast. Real talk about what it takes to create your happiest, healthiest, and most dynamic life. And now, here's your host, transformational life coach, happiness strategist, and best-selling author, Kristi Ling Spencer.
Well, hey there, amazing friends, and welcome back to another episode of the show. I am so happy and grateful that you're here with me. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I want to thank personally those of you who have taken the time to leave reviews over on Apple Podcasts or on your favorite platforms, or send me comments or notes on social media. I love hearing from you about the show and how it has served you in some way or provided a tip in some way that made a difference in your life. It makes me so happy. I can't even tell you. So I just wanted to really thank those of you who have taken the time. And if something on the show really resonates with you or has made a difference for you, I invite you to please let me know. Drop me a comment on social, over on Instagram. I'm there quite often. Or Facebook, where I have a large community of people who are really passionate about creating their best lives. And please leave a review over on Apple Podcasts and your other favorite platforms, because the reviews are so important for the algorithms. This is how you help the show reach more people who it might inspire and serve. So thank you so much in advance for that. And with that, let's dive in. I wanted to start today's show off by also sharing something personal. So the last 6 months, I have really jumped into creative downloads that I had been getting that I have wanted to turn into courses and workshops for all of you. And I have been working on something really, really big that I am getting ready to launch, because I had so many topics that people have asked me to cover and so many downloads of, oh, wow, yes, we need to talk about this. This is a big yes. And so much creativity flowing. And I really wanted to put it all together in one place. So without going into too much detail, because I'm still a few weeks away from announcing this big, huge project I've been working on for the last few months for you, I just wanted to share that it is so exciting. Like, I am bubbling up with excitement about this. It's so big. It's unlike anything else out there. And I am getting ready to launch it. You're going to find out about it within the next 2 or 3 episodes of the show as soon as everything is up and getting ready to launch. But I have been diving in, let me tell you, deep dives into so many topics. And while I've been producing content and writing and filming classes, I have also been learning a great deal and diving in even deeper into subjects that I want to cover on this show and cover with all of you. So big things are coming. And I invite you, if there's something I haven't talked about the show so far, a topic that you'd like me to cover, again, drop me a note over on social, shoot me an email through my website, or leave a comment on any of my platforms, because like I said, I love connecting with you, and it is me. I don't have anybody else connecting with my audience. I find it very important for me to be the one managing it, going in and overseeing everything and connecting personally with all of you. When you see a post on Facebook or Instagram or any of the platforms, it is me doing it. And I take a lot of pride in that. Yes, it's time consuming, but I've seen so many inauthentic posts by huge people online in the personal development space. And you can tell right away it's not them posting it. And sometimes they're even posting quotes that have been done 100 other times by other people that's not even their original quote. And it just drives me a little bit batty. I really believe that in this space, the people who are doing the most good and serving the most are coming authentically from the heart and are taking firsthand participation in everything that they're doing and offering. And I will never waver from that. It is so important to me. So I wanted you to know that I am connecting with all of you just like you're connecting with me. All right. So thank you again for being here. And with that, let's dive into today's topic. Today's show is all about creating a great relationship with your future self and why this is so important, and loving your future self a little bit more. So I have learned a great deal about this in the last couple of years, and it has served me so much that I have made it regular practice in my life. Now, you're not the same person you were 10 years ago, even a year ago, or even last week, right? Maybe even yesterday. Maybe you're a totally different person today than you were yesterday. We're always growing and evolving. And I've talked before about how important it is to forgive and love your past self. Well, today we're going to talk about why it's important to cultivate and enjoy a relationship with your future self and 3 ways you can do this. So just close your eyes for a minute, unless you're driving, of course, and envision the highest and best version of you, the person you want to grow into tomorrow, next week, 1 year from now, 10 years from now, and so on. Feel it as if it is already so, like as if it's already in the works, because it is. And it's so important to do little things now to support and take care of that future version of us in order to help them become the best they can be, right? This is next level self-love. It is next level self-care. It not only feels great to support your future self, it actually cultivates and amplifies more energy of self-love now and supports you in becoming the best version of you today, right here in this moment. And it helps you grow faster into that amazing version of you that you're envisioning. Now that sounds pretty good, right? A lot of benefits there. And I'm telling you, this has worked so well in my life. I can't stress it enough. Like, this is absolutely one of my favorite topics to talk about. It is so powerful. So with that, let's get into 3 of my favorite ways to cultivate a great relationship with your future self. Are you ready for this? Yes, I totally am. And by the way, on a total side note, on the last episode, I was mentioning that particular episode was unscripted. And really what I meant by that was that I wasn't working with any show notes. And show notes are different for every podcast host, but for me, they're just bullet points for each show that I create prior to recording the episode so that I make sure I don't miss any of the juicy, good stuff that I want to share with you. Because without the show notes, I might just speak from the heart, but I might skip over something or forget a really important quote or point that I wanted to share with you. And so there really is no script. It's just show notes. And like right now is the moment in this show that I'm about to refer to my show notes because I bullet pointed these 3 points that I wanted to make with you. So there's a little behind the scenes tidbit of podcasting for you and a little behind the scenes sharing of how I create these episodes for you. All right, back to the topic of creating a great relationship with your future self. First, number 1, my favorite tip perhaps, but definitely needs to be first for creating a relationship with your future self is visualization. This is so important, and I'm putting it first because this is what really creates a foundation here for not only creating a great relationship with that incredible future version of you that you're envisioning, but helps you to really get to know that person so that you can step into being that person in the best way so that you can get there quicker, and as well as know exactly what you can do now in the present to support that future version of you that you're creating now, right? To do things that your future version of yourself will thank you for right now. So to begin this journey, set aside a bit of time today or this week to sit down with a cup of tea or a big glass of hydrating water or a glass of wine, whatever you're feeling called for at the various time of day you might choose for this, and really picture that version of you that you desire to become. What is he or she taking part in? What is she eating? What is he or she participating in as far as activities or habits, right? What professional accomplishments have been achieved? How does he or she show up each day? How do they feel? How do they feel about life? Try closing your eyes and evoking these feelings now. try closing your eyes and connecting with that future version of yourself now and asking these questions and then answering them or letting the answers come organically. You might be surprised what answers you receive from that future version of you. This is very, very powerful work. And in this process, use your journal, or if you're a spreadsheet person, which I am not, but some people are. My husband is very much a spreadsheet person. Create a spreadsheet, right? Or whatever supports you in envisioning and visualizing and manifesting that world and that future version of you. Now, another great question to ask for this is, what would your future self thank your current self for? And I mentioned a little bit earlier about doing things that your future self will thank you for now. So really ask that question. What would your future self thank your current self for right now today? What is he or she counting on you for right now? What is he or she counting on you for right now? That is such a powerful question. I can feel the energy of so many of you going, oh yeah, I'm being counted on, right? There's a little pressure there, but it is true. And sometimes a little pressure is good for us, right? And so allowing that future version of ourselves that we want to become, that we envision, to put a little pressure on us now by knowing that he or she is counting on us to support them, right? That is so powerful. Connecting with all these things will create a deeper connection to this version of you, as well as create more great feelings right now. And if you're doing this work along with me while listening to the episode, even just a little bit, you're probably already starting to feel some of those feelings. I know I am, just by thinking about it and just by speaking about it. And this is how you will keep your eye on the ball, right? And begin making those things happen to step into that future version of you. And it's how you also tap into being as close to that version of you now, today, right? Because you are clear on what it is that you want to manifest. You're clear on that version of you that you want to step into, and you're clear on that future version of you that you know in your heart you can be. This is such a great foundation for success, my friends. And the reason I put visualization first is because this is really the place to start when creating a relationship and creating that future version of ourselves and making that future version of ourselves a close friend and trusted advisor to us today in our life, right? Isn't that a great thought? All right. So with that, my second tip, believe it or not, in a way, you can actually have conversations with that future version of you and ask him or her for advice and guidance. I love this so much. And that is also another reason why I put that visualization and sort of getting to know you, that version of you first, so that when you start having conversations with your future self, you can really get those downloads and get that great advice because you're so clear on who that person is, right? Now, sometimes in a tough situation, that's where this can really come into play. Taking just a minute or two to close your eyes and ask yourself, what would the amazing future version of me do in this situation, can bring incredible insight and feedback. It's so good, you all. I love it. I have been able to tap into so many great bits of feedback and ideas and creativity from having conversations with that future version of me. And I really wish I had known this years ago. Imagining and connecting with that beautiful future version of you that has accomplished all the goals and is full of vitality and great energy is so amazingly powerful. And, you know, I think about the person I am today and the person I was 10 years ago. And oh my gosh, how I wish I could have told her to talk to her future self. Because I think about all the advice and all the downloads that I would give her now if I could. And there are many of them. Some of them, okay, I had to learn with experience through time, right? But there are many things that I think I could have received as downloads that would have been very helpful to me 10 years ago. And I'm so grateful that I know about this work now and that I incorporate it into my life. And it's why I was passionate about doing this episode for you today. So back to connecting with that version of you. Connecting with that future version of you that is your highest and best self, that person you want to step into, that person that you know you will be if you stay consistent with your goals and your dreams. It not only helps you in the present, it helps solidify the foundation, right, of every day taking more steps to becoming that person. So it's about connecting and becoming like a BFF with that person in your future, but also supporting you in stepping into that person in little bits, small steps every day. How great is that? I love the idea that your future you can and should absolutely be one of your best friends and highly valued advisors, right? Oh my gosh, it is just so awesome. So finally, here's my third one. Create the habit of doing favors for your future self. There are a lot of little things we really don't feel like doing in the present, like making the bed or setting up the coffee maker for tomorrow morning are two good small examples. But when we start to think of these things in a new way, as the small ways to support our future self and show love for that person, it becomes not only so much easier to do those little things that we really don't feel like doing now or we think we don't have time for, but it becomes so empowering to do those things and they become a priority. And I love this little shift. Shifting the way we're looking at those little mundane things that we don't really feel like doing in this moment as gifts to our future self, as powerful little ways to support our future self in that version of us and the happiness and the comfort and the creativity and the support that they want to have in their life, right? I love the quote from Wayne Dyer that says, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. That is one of my favorite quotes of all time because it's so powerful and so true in so many areas. And it definitely applies here. So think about those little mundane things that you know are gifts to your future self, like setting up the coffee maker or making the bed, and start to see them as powerful ways to support that version of you that you love, that is one of your best friends, right? Now, here's a couple more ideas that just come from my toolbox. Anytime I'm leaving on a trip, I know the version of me who's going to be coming home from that trip. She's going to be tired from travels and so happy to be home and full of hopefully great lessons and experiences from the travels, right? And she's going to be coming home ready to just rest and soak and bask in all that. So while I'm getting ready for a trip, in addition to packing and the things I need to get done before I go, I do things for that future version of me who will be coming home. So one of the things I do is I always make sure that there are clean sheets on the bed before I leave so that I will come home to clean sheets. I don't know about you all, but I love clean sheets. It's one of my favorite simple pleasures in life. And I make sure that there are also healthy snacks in the house before I leave so that I don't have to rush to the grocery store right away when I get back. And, it's things that don't go bad quickly. If it's just a few days, I make sure that I've got some organic eggs in the fridge and maybe some longer lasting fruit like apples so that there are healthy, wholesome things for me when I get home and breakfast items, right? And by the way, so I got back from my last trip and had a total fail in this area because while I had healthy snacks in the house, I realized the next morning after I woke up, after getting back from a late flight the night before, that there was no coffee in the house. Total fail. So I've added that to my list of gifts from my future self is to always make sure that there's coffee in the house before I leave on a trip. I know all you coffee drinkers are out there are going like, oh yeah, that is a total fail. You never want to come home and have no coffee the next morning when you wake up. But anyway, start to think of things that you can do. It's different for everyone, right? But some of them, of course, are universal. But think of some things you can do now to set your future self up to feel supported and loved and to be comfortable and to have all the things they need to really blossom, right? And expand and grow. And not just when you're getting ready for travel, but on a daily basis for the future version of you tomorrow, for next week, or even later that day. And of course, years in the future. Another thing I do on a daily basis is I take my supplements that are customized for me that my doctors recommended. And I can't tell you what a difference that's made in my life. And I've also done some of my own research on situations that I know are true and authentic for me. And I've started on some supplements that I know support me in those areas. And that's a really big one. And that is something you can do for your future self, because you don't always notice the same day when you take your supplements, big results, right? But over time, it creates big results. And that is something that your future self would thank you for. So I definitely, and you've heard me talk about this before because I'm really big on it. It's one of my passions. Highly recommend talking to your primary care physician or even a specialist and, discuss your blood work, discuss your personal biology, get to know your personal biology, right? And what works for you and what doesn't, and create with your doctor or your nutritionist or a professional in that area, a custom plan for you. This is a nice big favor that everybody can do for their future self, right? And start thinking about what are some habits you can create now that will support you in your goals, your health, your comfort, and your inspiration, not just now, but as your future self. And like I mentioned before, what would your future self thank you for, right? All right, so I hope this has inspired you to begin creating your future self now and building that relationship with that future version of you that can support you now today. And invite that version of you into your present life as much as possible and as a much loved and admired confidant and friend, right? Because that's what that version of you can be. Now, I'll share one last thing before I get to the Joy School habit for today. And that is this. Doing all this work and going deep into this. And by the way, I'm creating an entire workshop on this within the container of the program that I'm getting ready to launch that I mentioned earlier. And I'm so excited about it because I think this is such important work to go deep with. And that's why I wanted to really have a bit of an extended version of the podcast today to go just a little bit deeper into this because it is such important work. But the last thing I wanted to mention about it is that doing this work and going deep into it, when you get there to your future, you will be so grateful for all the mindset work and all the love that you directed to that version of yourself, that you will find yourself in a version of you that loves yourself and supports yourself in the present moment more than ever. It is really incredible work. So I wanted to just leave you with that on this topic. Now let's get to the Joy School habits, which is the part of the show where we share a habit that isn't really a lot of effort that can make a big difference in your life. So this is not a fun topic, but it is an important topic to discuss. And that is, I want you all to get your cancer screenings, my friends. They're not convenient, but they're so worth it. And it takes just a minute or two to go online or call your doctor's office and set these appointments. And it could literally save your life. Cancer screenings are a responsibility that you have to yourself, and they're a responsibility that you have to your future self. And especially your future self, right? Because there are so many cancers that if caught early are curable. And when they're caught late, and we haven't done screenings, it is much more difficult, right? And so staying on top of all the screenings that are available to us is so key. And like I mentioned, this is not a fun topic, but I am passionate about it. Staying physically healthy is absolutely the most important part of our happiness and creating our best life, right? And this is such a big part of that. So here's a challenge for you today. This is a challenge for today. I want you to pick 1 or 2 cancer screenings that you know you're due for, or you're going to be due for soon, and get it scheduled, or get more than one scheduled. Get them on the books, friends. Then do this regularly. And if you pick a time of year to get these all scheduled, like I like to, around my birthday every year, actually go in and schedule all my cancer screenings that I know I'm going to have due for the following year. My birthday to me every year is sort of my own personal New Year's. And that's why I sort of pick a day, either a week before or a week after my birthday, where I schedule all my health screenings, my physicals, and my cancer screenings all on one day. And it's a great way to remember it too. So that is a great little habit to create. And so I want you to really be thinking about this. And some of the screenings that are very important and so accessible at any age, you need skin cancer screenings, right? I actually had melanoma in my 30s, and it was found early through a cancer screening. And so it was through that process, and I had a minor surgery for it. And that was it. It was cured because it was caught so early. And I, of course, have gone every single year now for skin cancer screenings. And through that experience, I became passionate about the importance of cancer screenings and the power, right? It is powerful that we have so many relatively simple ways to screen ourselves for these deadly diseases. And I love and care about you all so much. And so I'm asking you to please create this habit. So take that challenge today. Get yourself scheduled for one or more cancer screenings. Guys, talk to your doctor about when you need to be screened for prostate cancer and other male cancers. And women, make sure you are getting your regular screenings for all the things, right? Including your annual mammogram. I personally have 2 friends whose lives were saved, literally saved by mammograms. So please, 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 if you're not doing those, schedule them, make the effort. They're not that bad. I know they squish the girls, right? But they're not that bad and they're so worth it. And to all my friends over 40, y'all talk to your doctor about a colonoscopy or colon cancer screenings. And if you don't have a history of colon cancer or polyps in your family, in your 40s, you can do some of these mail order kits that they have for colon cancer screening. How awesome is that? You just do it at home, mail it in, and you get an answer, and they can screen for a large percentage of cancers, colon cancers. So talk to your doctor about that if you're really, really resistant to a colonoscopy, or if your insurance is resisting paying for you to get one because you're not 45 yet. And on that note, I want to share that just recently, the recommended age for colonoscopy has been reduced from 50 to 45. Now, I personally think it should really be 40 because let me tell you, Gens X, Y, and millennials, we are the processed food generations. Unlike our parents who basically were raised on cleaner and more whole foods because many of the toxic processing methods and chemicals hadn't been created yet for them, right? Really, we were unknowingly hit, our generations, with convenience foods and packaged foods. And we grew up with trans fats and nitrates in our lunch meat and fast food and toxic dyes and preservatives. It's all so gross when I think about it. Yet we cut this crap out now because we know more about it. But we were sort of napalmed with it when we were younger and didn't know any better, right? And that is why I personally believe that our generations are being hit with more cancers than ever. This is the reason. And so if you want motivation to clean up your diet more, that's great motivation. But also personally for me, when I think about what I ate in high school and college, and even in my 20s before I started learning more and they started finding out more and more about how bad it all is, oh my gosh, I think about what I used to eat and I totally cringe, right? Who else ate candy bars for lunch in high school? So disgusting. And all the fast food, right? And what is within walking distance of all high schools and colleges? A bunch of junk food still today, right? So if you've got kids, by the way, that are those ages, and you probably already are, but it's so important to teach them about making better food choices and ourselves too, to teach ourselves because we're always constantly learning, right? And I geek out on this stuff. I love learning I read scientific studies about food additives and chemicals and all kinds of things. And actually, I am going to, in the next couple of months, create an in-depth workshop on how we can clean up our diet to support our joy. And that's also going to be within the container of the new program that I'm launching. I'm so excited. There are so many topics that when we know more, it's like that saying, when we know better, we do better, right? And that's really what this podcast is all about. That is what inspiring you all to go deeper in some of these topics is all about. And that is why I'm so passionate about all this. The more we learn, the better we do, and the happier and more joyful and healthier we are. All right. That is it for today's show. So please accept that challenge. Get on the phone or get online and schedule your cancer screenings. And with that, be sure to connect with me over on Facebook and Instagram. Visit my website at KristiLingSpencer.com where you can download some free gifts, including my free workshop on 11 habits of the happiest people, and find other supportive resources I've got for you there. I'm sending you all so much love, and I'm sending your future versions of you so much love. And until next time, remember, you've got what it takes to create more amazing days, and more amazing days make up a pretty amazing life. Have a fantastic week, my beautiful friends, and I can't wait to see you all again soon. Cheers.